warfare demands a high level of performance from both men and equipment. Today's forces must be well-equipped, well-trained, well-informed, and well-prepared. Effective response may call more on the mental and physical fitness of a fighting force than on tactics and strategy. One aspect of this fitness is a soldier's confidence in his knowledge and ability to provide essential first aid to himself and his buddies. First aid training and skill becomes a powerful defensive weapon. The priority action approach is a series of actions. Adopt the PAA in any combat, accident, or emergency situation where there are injuries. Circumstances may dictate that the order of steps be changed. The most appropriate person, often the most qualified first aider, should take charge. If order is not imposed immediately, there may be panic and chaos. Assess hazards and make the area safe. Don't plunge into a situation without making a quick and careful assessment. Look for downed wires, pools of spilled fuel, vehicles that are still running, fires that are smoldering. Consider factors such as terrain, weather, time to rescue, and the enemy threat. Call for help. If it is obvious that you will need major assistance, medical evacuation for example, make it a priority to get help. Use the radio, a transmitter, telephone, or send someone for assistance. Organize others at the scene. You should recruit others at the scene who are uninjured or whose injuries are minor to help you with the first aid for multiple casualties. They must take direction from you. Make a quick assessment of all casualties. Give immediate first aid for life-threatening injuries. Remember that the priorities for treatment are stopped breathing, bleeding, consciousness, other injuries. Ensure that casualties are continuously monitored because their condition is likely to change. Assess secondary injuries. These injuries would include fractures, abrasions, minor burns, sprains, injuries that are not life-threatening. The situations that we have reviewed are all serious, but in each case there was a strong team leader and enough capable people to impose order, to prevent further injury, and to deal in a systematic way with multiple casualties. What happens when you are alone? No first aid kit, no medic, nobody to help, nobody to tell you what to do, no supplies other than what you carry and what you can improvise. Consider this situation. The Hercules will drop pathfinders into enemy territory. The terrain is dangerous. Enemy fire has been intense. It will be dark in a few hours. At this time of year, the nights are cold. Much depends on this mission. Everyone knows his job. Conquer fear. Take responsibility for yourself. Knowing what to do and how to do it and being confident in your skills will help you through difficult situations. Let's look at what happened to 3 of the Pathfinders when they became separated. Goodson lands. He's on his own. He checks for injuries and gets on with the job. Levine is not so lucky. An open fracture of the forearm is nasty but not life-threatening, and he will have to decide what to do. No one will come to help. Corporal Reed has a potentially serious injury. Immediate first aid is a priority. Seconds count. Wounds of the head bleed profusely. He uses direct pressure with the bare hand to control bleeding. There is a good chance that the enemy will be aware of the drop. Goodson ensures that his weapon is operational. He must stay alert. Levine has a decision to make. He knows that prompt first aid will prevent further injury, reduce the chance of infection, and slow the onset of shock. Immobilizing the arm will delay him a little, but he will then be able to function more effectively. Corporal Reed secures the dressing firmly in place to maintain pressure over the wound. His weapon operational, his chute stowed, Goodson heads off to complete his mission. Note that Levine has supported his injured arm. He can improvise from here. His bandana is turned into a ring pad. He carefully avoids direct pressure on the bone. Corporal Reed is in trouble. There's been a lot of blood lost. Skin is pale, strength is failing. There is nausea and sweating. While he is still able to function, he must do what he can to stow the gear and the chute. He knows that shock is setting in. Levine is in pain, and pain can affect judgment. He must think carefully and conserve energy. To give himself the best chance, Reed looks for as safe a location as possible for himself and the gear. Levine improvises a sling for the injured arm. By undoing a couple of buttons on his shirt, he can carefully tuck the injured arm inside the shirt against the body. He continues to monitor circulation on the injured arm. Reed cannot go on. The problem now is shock. He looks for a natural slope on the ground and finds some way to elevate the feet and legs. There is a risk of unconsciousness. He puts himself in the recovery position. His weapon is operational. All he can do now is wait for help. Levine is mobile, but cannot manage his gear. So once it is hidden away, he sets out to provide whatever help he can in completing the mission. Self-aid can be as simple as providing pressure to a bleeding wound and maintaining elevation until a buddy arrives.
Shit. Jerry, you all right?
Pressure on that. Keep it elevated.
Yeah, check on snow.
Okay.
Or as complex as preparing for exposure to chemical agents and administering auto-injectors to yourself if you have been exposed. Self-aid may be necessary in everyday situations. Choking when you are alone can be a frightening experience. Prompt action can save your life. Fatigue, cold, or carelessness can pose hazards to forces personnel while on exercise. In this situation, self-aid can provide prompt cooling of the burned area. Self-aid in survival situations can call upon many skills, finding food, building a fire, and shelter. Or simply involve remaining calm and maintaining your will to survive. Remember the priority action approach. Apply the principles when you are alone, just as you would in a multiple casualty situation. Take charge. Assess hazards. Make the area safe. Protect yourself. Assess injuries. The priorities for first aid are breathing, bleeding, and consciousness. Dress wounds. Prevent further injury. Slow shock. Shock will be present with many injuries. Do what you can to slow the onset of shock. Get help.